Here's the second chasm. It's absolutely not hiding. So the dotted line chasm, we'll go into specifics. This is lecture 13. This is the super entrepreneurship model. In the next lecture, lecture 14, we're actually going into more expansion of exactly how to DJ up the second chasm. So this chasm, the dotted line chasm, is airplane flight, air flight. So what the Wright brothers did was they realized that bicycles had already crossed the chasm. Bicycles had already gained adoption. Bicycles were ubiquitous. They leveraged two wheels, roller chain, and it would just power the back rear wheel. So they took the profits of selling bicycles and they plowed some of those profits, some of those retained earnings if you went to business school. Took some of that leftover money if you're just street. They took profits and they invested those profits into coming up with three-plane control. X-axis, Y-axis, Z-axis, three-plane control to co-found a major called aerospace engineering, flying a plane. So a plane is the dotted line portion of the chasm where even after a prototype was working, the United States Army, they didn't purchase a working prototype by two Americans, Orville and Wilbur. What they did was they waited till the French War Department made their first purchase. So the Wright brothers did not die in the innovation chasm because they leveraged selling bicycles. And that's the edit. That's the engineering mentality of self-funding. They didn't hope for investment from the government, which never happened. They didn't hope for investment from the Smithsonian Museum, which didn't even recognize their invention until 40 years later because of bureaucracy and because of doubt. Older people will always doubt the new technology, and this has happened time and time again. Elon Musk self-funded spaceflight by selling debit cards. Before he sold debit cards, he sold Yellow Pages online. So DJing in the second chasm happens all the time, just that nobody's ever put a methodology to it. Nobody's ever had the gonads, the giggleberries, the brass balls to tell you, hey, there's a chasm within a chasm, and the Wright brothers actually came up with a new form of venture capital, which is why in this lecture, in lecture 13, this one chasm within a chasm, I'm forking to taking this code and then forking it like Stack Overflow, like GitHub. I'm forking this hashtag CS183EDit to be CS183VC. V is in venture, C is capital. Because the Wright brothers, after they invented flight, after they died, they were given a Bachelor of Arts degree from an Ohio college post-mortem. Meaning after they die, they get a bachelor's degree? Are you high? We should be giving people like the Wright brothers, who were the foremost innovators inside of venture capital for engineering, we should be giving them honorary MBAs because they came up with Cross the Chasm from the Right, even though Jeffrey Moore's book wouldn't be written for another 91 years. Think about that. They've extrapolated 91 years where I just extrapolated the fifth epiphany. So this should be blowing your mind because you should be looking for that other chasm. And I'm not even joking. I might have a jocular tone. I might have an American attitude. I might offend some foreign people. I'm sorry that your country didn't invent air flight. But the Wright brothers absolutely realized that bicycles funded flight.